his teeth TIFU by opening a 2-year-old thermos. So, a couple years ago my little sister got a new backpack, and instead of cleaning out the old one and throwing it away, she shoved it in the coat closet. Today, I had the lovely privilege of finding it and cleaning it out the first oust. My sister's discarded backpack had been collecting dust in our coat closet for years, and today was the day it got cleaned out. I was excited to sort through its contents, but little did I know what horrors awaited me. Amidst the tangled mess of old notes, crumpled papers, and broken pencils, I stumbled upon a 2-year-old backpack lunch. It was a sad sight, with its once fresh contents now transformed into a science experiment. After disposing of several mystery fruits and vegetables, I came across an old thermos, its lid still sealed. Despite my initial reservations, I decided to give it a try. I twisted and turned the lid, but it wouldn't budge. I tried to apply a bit more force, but it remained stubbornly shut. The thermos seemed to be taunting me, daring me to give up. My attempts only intensified as I ran it under hot water, used a towel for better grip, and even tapped it against a hard surface. The thermos remained resolute in its refusal to open. Defeated, I walked away, but my triumph was short-lived. As I retreated, I heard a sudden explosion, followed by a wave of putrid stench that hit me like a punch to the gut. First off, thank you for the support, advice, and differing perspectives you provided on my first post. Most of you agreed that I should not be working for my cousin. I mentioned on the last post, a family business fiasco. When loyalty becomes a liability, I wanted to express my gratitude for the responses to my previous post and the advice I received from you all. Many of you agreed that I should distance myself from my cousin's business, as I had initially mentioned that I was considering working for them. Although some competitors had offered me similar pay, they required a career setback. Several of you pointed out that the discrepancy in my compensation suggested I was being overworked and underpaid. Upon reviewing my notes and calculating my work hours, I realized I had put in 87 days out of over 200 during my leave. This was the breaking point for me. I then reached out to the companies that had previously extended offers and asked for formal proposals. 3 of them responded, with one presenting an attractive package that included fewer hours, more money, and a flexible start date after my maternity leave. I accelerated our scheduled check-in meeting and presented my research and findings to my cousin and others. Although I was open to discussing possible solutions that would allow me to stay, my cousin reacted irrationally, and we eventually agreed that it was time for me to move on. Given that I have 9 weeks of leave remaining, I will be submitting my resignation and ensuring TIFU by not stalking my husband. We are at my grandparents' this weekend to visit family. I notice him get out of bed and head towards the stairs. In my half-asleep state I let him go. About a minute later I realized I fucked up and should have followed him. He had no reason to H. A night to remember at my grandparents' house. My family and I are spending the weekend at my grandparents' place. I must have dozed off, because when I saw my husband get out of bed, I didn't wake up to follow him. A minute later, I was wide awake and regretted not catching up to him. He returned to our bedroom, searching through what I thought was his bag, but it turned out to be my unpacked suitcase. My husband was actually looking for his missing underwear, completely unaware of his nocturnal excursion. It wasn't until I gently roused him from his sleep that he came to and explained he had gone to the bathroom. My anxiety peaked as I questioned the whereabouts of the bathroom he supposedly used. My husband seemed just as perplexed, saying he didn't know where he had gone to relieve himself. Now, at the ungodly hour of 4 a.m., I'm frantically searching my grandparents' house for evidence of a mysterious puddle. The house is vast, and I'm starting to lose hope of finding the missing evidence. The thought of someone stumbling upon it and discovering the truth keeps me on edge, anticipating the inevitable fallout and potential consequences for our family gatherings. TLDR, AITA for getting my family to do a swear tax after my dad told me off for swearing. My dad and brothers cuss like sailors, but apparently me cussing is unladylike. I am living with my family. It's me, a 15-year-old girl, my twin brothers who are 17, and my parents. My dad. See you. Did I go too far by implementing a swear tax on my family after my dad lectured me about bad language? I live with my family, consisting of my 15-year-old self, my twin 17-year-old brothers, and my parents. My family isn't exactly known for their refined vocabulary, but for some reason, I'm the only one who gets criticized for using a few choice words. Recently, my dad overheard me having a conversation on the phone with friends, and he was furious about the language I used. He scolded me, telling me how unladylike it was. I knew this wasn't the first time I'd been called out for bad language, but this incident really rubbed me the wrong way, not because I'm ashamed of my language, but because it seemed like there was a double standard. I could have confronted my dad about his hypocrisy, but I decided to take a different approach. I told him and the rest of my family that I'm working on breaking the habit of bad language because I want to be able to communicate effectively and respectfully in the future, especially when I start my career or attending college. However, it's challenging to avoid picking up bad habits when everyone around me is using them frequently. AITA for breaking up with my girlfriend over my video games. So I have a decent video collection. I will not post pictures as I do not want this post linked to my actual account. My girlfriend of 2 years 25F and me 24F decided we wanted to move in together, she kinda mention. Am I the asshole for prioritizing my video game collection over my relationship? I've got a substantial collection of games, which I've carefully curated over the past 3 years. While I'd rather not share images of my collection online, I can tell you it holds sentimental value and some of the titles have potential for resale. My girlfriend, who I've been with for 2 years, and I were discussing the possibility of moving in together. However, during the conversation, she mentioned that she'd like me to part with my entire collection, which was a significant blow. I initially thought she was joking, but her insistence on getting rid of my games made it clear that she wasn't. I tried to explain the emotional attachment I have to my collection, but my girlfriend felt that I wasn't willing to make the necessary sacrifice for our relationship. She essentially told me that I didn't love her enough to let go of my games. Recently, the issue came to a head when she called and told me to choose between the games and our relationship. I chose to keep my collection, which ultimately led to her ending our relationship. Almost everyone I've spoken to has been telling me that I made a mistake by prioritizing my games over our relationship. However, I feel like TIFU by trying to Dutch oven my wife. So this happened yesterday, but still, close enough I say. So I wake up on a fine Sunday morning and my lovely wife snuggles into me for a cuddle. We're comfortable enough with each other that farting is not really an issue, so I let one R. My wife outdid me yesterday morning, so the events of yesterday still linger in my mind. Let's just say it was a Sunday morning like no other. As my lovely wife snuggled into me for a cuddle, I let out a